Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed on the Nasdaq stock market. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index systems in the world. Joining me this Thursday afternoon is Joyce, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on technical levels to watch in the Nasdaq-100. And Brian, it seems like April Fool's Day, Nasdaq-100, in fact, all the indexes are performing quite well. And this is, the seasonally positive time of the year for stocks. So it's interesting to see just how much they took off.
Yeah, I mean, we had a big announcement yesterday with the infrastructure plan by President Biden. And that's really kind of just first part of the plan. I think in next month there could be another $1 trillion proposed for in spending geared towards social programs. Yesterday's announcement was geared towards more of the infrastructure. Ironically, it's the cyclical names that are underperforming the growth names today. The value today is underperforming growth, and I had a couple of questions today about from clients about that. Given the announcement, why isn't the industrials and materials today leading? But again, it's I think just one day doesn't make a trend, and it could be a sell the news kind of event where it was about time for growth and technology to step back up and start getting on board with the uptrend here in the first quarter.
Right. I mean, to be fair, they've had quite the run, whether you're looking at the banks, the industrials, the names that weren't leading us out of the pandemic. And now that we're kind of getting to the other side, they've had quite a run, to take a step back for a day and get a little bit of a breather is not necessarily the end of the world. But with that said, let's take a look at your first chart here on the Nasdaq-100 for a refresh on some new technical levels to watch.
Absolutely. So here's the daily period chart. And here's what I would highlight is that today's gains on an intraday basis had moved above these highs that we've been facing since for about the last 4 or 5 weeks now. So we're back above at the top of this level here. What I do like about it, if I flip this to this is actually the triple Qs right here, but if we flip this to the chart with the moving averages, we can see that we've now convincingly cleared this 50-day moving average, which is now below us here. So this is what we do want to see the index hold above. It was resistance back here in early March and mid-March, and now it looks like we could be breaking out to the upside here above that. So that would be a minor win for the bulls here in the NDX. The other thing I would also tend to look at here is the Bollinger Bands. So during the uptrend throughout all of last year and in the first part of this year, the first month or two, the upper band is what the NDX was riding along. And then as soon as we broke that 20-day average, moving average, the midline here in convincing fashion, that was the signal that a prolonged period of corrective price action was underway. And so now for the first time since mid-February, we're back to testing the upper bound of the Bollinger Bands, the upper band. So that's two standard deviations above the moving average. Again, it's a minor positive from a technical perspective. Again, at the end of the day, price is king, and I do want to see us get above this resistance up at the 324 level on the triple Qs. For the NDX 100, that would be let's see here. We want to hold above this 13,312 level. That's the key level we want to get above and hold above on a sustainable basis going forward. And I'm pretty hopeful that we can, in fact, do that, given the broader strength we've seen in the other sectors, industrials, materials. I think technology has spent enough time correcting, and ideally will now, is now in the early stages of resuming its own uptrend.
All right. Appreciate the insight. Have a great holiday weekend. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.